Somewhere in your neighborhood, there's a plant growing, a plant that 19th century farmers used to hang by their doors, rub on their skin, and plant along their porches, specifically to keep mosquitoes away. And modern science has now confirmed it actually works. Most people today reach for DEET, that chemical spray that smells like a factory. And you're not even supposed to put directly on your skin. But before DEET was invented in 1946, people weren't just suffering through mosquito season, they had something natural, something that worked. This plant almost disappeared from mainstream knowledge entirely. It got buried under billion-dollar pesticide marketing. But gardeners, herbalists, and researchers have quietly kept the secret alive. Today, I'm going to tell you exactly what this plant is, the real science behind why it works, how to grow it yourself, even if you've never grown anything before, and the exact way to use it so it actually protects you, not just sit prettily in a pot. Stay until the end, because I'll also share 2 bonus plants that work even better when combined with this one. Let's get into it. The history. The plant we're talking about is Tanacetum vulgare, commonly known as Tansy. And before you say, I've never heard of that, that's exactly the point. Tansy has been documented in European herbal medicine since at least the 9th century. Benedictine monks grew it in their monastery gardens. By the 1800s, it was one of the most common household herbs across England, Germany, and early colonial America. Farmers planted it near barn doors and kitchen entrances. Women tucked it into bedding. Travelers rubbed the leaves on their arms and necks before walking through wetlands. Historical records from the 1840s actually describe tansy as the great insect repellent of the common people. This wasn't folklore in the dismissive sense. This was documented practical knowledge passed down through generations. So what happened? Why did it disappear? 2 things. First, the rise of synthetic chemical pesticides in the mid-20th century. When DEET came along in 1946, originally developed by the U.S. Army for jungle warfare, it was aggressively marketed as the modern scientific solution. Natural remedies were pushed aside as old wives' tales. Second, tansy got a bad reputation because of one specific warning. The essential oil extracted from tansy, the concentrated pure oil, contains a compound called thujone, which is toxic if ingested in large amounts. This warning got blown out of proportion, and suddenly a plant that millions of people had safely used for 1,000 years was being treated like a dangerous weed. The real science. Here's where it gets really interesting, and this is where modern research backs up what 19th century farmers already knew. Tansy leaves contain a complex mixture of aromatic compounds, camphor, borneol, thujone, and several terpenes. These compounds work on mosquitoes in a very specific way. They don't just smell bad to mosquitoes, they actually interfere with the insect's ability to detect the carbon dioxide and lactic acid that humans emit. In other words, tansy confuses mosquitoes. It scrambles the signals they use to find you. A study published in the journal Industrial Crops and Products found that tansy essential oil demonstrated significant repellent activity against Aedes aegypti, the mosquito species responsible for transmitting dengue, Zika, and yellow fever. The study noted that certain concentrations were comparable to low-dose DEET preparations. Research from Latvia and Lithuania, where tansy grows wild and people still use it traditionally, has shown that simply having tansy plants near outdoor seating areas reduces mosquito presence. The plant releases its aromatic compounds continuously, creating a kind of invisible protective zone. Now, important clarification. I'm not saying tansy is a magic force field, no plant is. What the science shows is that it is a genuinely effective natural repellent, especially when the leaves are bruised or crushed to release more of those aromatic compounds. The key is how you use it, and I'll get to that. Also important to address the thujone concern directly. The toxic risk associated with thujone is specifically linked to ingesting concentrated essential oil. We're talking about drinking it. Using the plant topically or growing it in your garden carries no such risk. Millions of people across Europe still grow and handle tansy regularly with zero harm. Context matters. Section 3, how to grow tansy. Here's the good news. Tansy is one of the easiest plants you will ever grow. It's almost aggressively hardy. Where to get it? You can find tansy seeds or starter plants at most herb nurseries, online seed stores, and sometimes even at farmers markets. Look for Tanacetum vulgare. There's also a variety called curly tansy, Tanacetum vulgare crispum, which is a bit more decorative but equally effective. Sunlight? Tansy loves full sun but tolerates partial shade. If you live somewhere hot, a bit of afternoon shade actually helps it thrive. Soil. Average to poor, well-drained soil. This plant actually prefers not to be pampered. Rich, over-fertilized soil makes it grow floppy and less aromatic. Poor soil concentrates the essential oils, which is exactly what you want for repellent power. Watering. Drought tolerant once established. Water regularly while it's getting started, then back off. It's perennial in most temperate climates. Plant it once, and it comes back every year. One important note: containment. Tansy spreads aggressively by both seeds and rhizomes. If you're growing it in a garden bed, plant it inside a buried container or use a root barrier to keep it from taking over. Alternatively, grow it in large pots. It does excellently in containers, which also makes it portable. Move the pots to wherever you're sitting outside. Where to place it? Position tansy near your doors, windows, patio edges, and seating areas. The goal is to create a perimeter of scent. A few large pots arranged around your outdoor sitting area can make a noticeable difference. How to actually use it? Growing the plant is step 1. Using it correctly is step 2. And this is where most people who've tried natural repellents go wrong. They grow the plant, admire it, and then wonder why they're still getting bitten. Method 1. The rub. Snap off a few fresh tansy leaves and rub them firmly between your palms. This bruises the leaves and releases the aromatic oils. Then rub your palms and the leaves across your arms, legs, and neck. The scent will be strong, camphor-like, herbal, and a little medicinal. That's exactly what you want. Reapply every hour or two, especially if you're sweating. Method 2. Fresh bundles. Cut several stalks of tansy, 10 to 15 inches long, and tie them into loose bundles. Hang these near doorways, windows, and outdoor seating. As air moves through the leaves, it carries the repellent compounds. This is exactly what 19th century households did. Replace the bundles every few days as the plant dries out and loses potency. Method 3. Tansy spray, the modern update. Boil a large handful of tansy leaves and stems in 2 cups of water for 15 minutes. Let it steep for another hour. Strain it. Let it cool completely. Then pour it into a spray bottle. Add a teaspoon of witch hazel to help it spread evenly on skin. Shake before each use and spray on exposed skin and clothing. Keep refrigerated and use within 1 week. This spray is the most versatile method and what I personally find most practical for outdoor activities. It smells strong but fades within minutes on the skin, while the repellent compounds remain active. Bonus plants that supercharge. Tansy. Remember, I promised you 2 bonus plants. Here they are. And both of these were also documented by 19th century gardeners as mosquito deterrents, and both have solid modern research backing them up. Bonus plant number 1, catnip, Nepetacataria. Yes, the cat toy plant. A landmark study from Iowa State University found that nepetalactone, the active compound in catnip, is approximately 10 times more effective at repelling mosquitoes than DEET in laboratory conditions. 10 times. The reason it's not mainstream is that it requires direct contact with the skin to work. You can't just have it nearby. But rubbing fresh catnip leaves on your skin and growing it alongside tansy creates a powerful layered defense. Bonus plant number 2, lemon balm, Melissa officinalis. Lemon balm contains high concentrations of citronellol and geraniol, the same compounds found in citronella candles, but in a living, continuously releasing plant form. Research published in Parasitology. Research demonstrated that lemon balm essential oil showed strong repellent activity. As a plant in your garden, it releases these compounds into the air around it constantly. The combination strategy: plant tansy around the perimeter, lemon balm near seating areas, and keep a pot of catnip handy to rub on skin when you head outside. These 3 plants have overlapping but different mechanisms. Tansy confuses detection, catnip overwhelms the senses, lemon balm mimics citronella. Together, they create multiple layers of protection. All 3 are perennial, all 3 are easy to grow, all 3 are inexpensive, and all 3 will come back every year once established. Honest expectations and safety. I want to be completely honest with you here, because I believe in giving you real information, not hype. These plants are genuine, research-supported mosquito repellents, but they are not a replacement for DT in high-risk disease transmission areas. If you're traveling somewhere with active dengue, malaria, or Zika outbreaks, consult a doctor and use clinically tested protection. What these plants are perfect for: everyday outdoor life, your backyard, your patio, summer evenings, camping in low-risk areas, gardening. For that kind of use, they are excellent and completely worth growing. Safety notes. Do not use tansy during pregnancy. The thujone content makes topical use during pregnancy something to avoid out of caution. Never ingest tansy essential oil. The plant itself in the garden is safe. Concentrated extracts, taken internally, are not. Patch test the leaf rub on a small area of skin first, especially if you have sensitive skin. Some people have a mild reaction to the compounds. These are the same kinds of precautions you'd apply to any strong herbal plant. Handled sensibly, tansy has been used safely by millions of people across centuries. There's something almost poetic about the fact that the knowledge our great-great-grandparents used every summer, quietly, practically, effectively, got buried under a century of chemical marketing, and is now being rediscovered through modern plant science. Tansy isn't a miracle. It's a plant, but it's a plant with real chemistry behind it, real history behind it, and real practical value for anyone who'd rather not spray synthetic chemicals on their skin every time they step outside. If you're going to try one thing from this video, let it be this. Plant tansy near your outdoor space this season. Give it one summer, see what happens. If you found this useful, hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel more than you know. Subscribe if you want more videos on forgotten plant knowledge and natural living that's grounded in actual science. Drop a comment below. Have you ever heard of tansy before today? I'm genuinely curious. I'll see you in the next one.